Greetings, YouTubers. Well, we got some pretty colors on the hill, and well, we got to work a little bit today. It is nice and cool out here, which is nice. Looks like we're going to be working on this expedition. We sort of have a front rotor fail, the slotted kind, the drilled type that you get. Now, we replaced these about a year ago, as I step on everything. And after 6 months, we thought we'd be good for quite some time. Well, after 6 months, they started shaking. Now they're to a point there it's just undrivable. It shakes. Both sides are really bad, and these are slotted rotors. I really never had much of an issue with these. Now, I've got these on my Trailblazer. Not a problem. Now, on this Expedition, this thing weighs close to or right at 5,000 pounds. So this is a heavy vehicle. So I don't know if this is a best option for this. This only has the Triton 4.6 engine. It doesn't have the 5.4. So this one here, I've just about got it off, and I think you can kind of see there. It doesn't look so good. Matter of fact, I've already taken the other side off, and we put a dummy rotor on there to see if it would help it, and it did help the other side. It didn't shake us bad, but this is the one that was on the other side. And if you look closely, you can see places there where it's kind of wore down a little bit. And if I put my finger on the edge of this right here, it's actually wore down probably about 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch. And that's quite a bit, since you know, the age of these rotors aren't all that old. And there's the back side, and I can actually see a groove right there. So when I would hit the brake, the vehicle would just kind of go doot, 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 and you would hear it squeaking sometimes up front, kind of oscillated within time and harmonating within time of the rotor spinning. So I know it's on the front. So what we did, we went out and just bought some regular old stock rotors. We're going to kind of put these off the side and say we never should have done that to begin with, but here are the ones we're going to put on there. These are not slotted. These are just standard heavy-duty rotors. Hopefully we won't have any more problems with it. So just because you changed out your rotors and about 6 months to a year later you start getting shaking and you start looking at other things, well, you better look very closely at these rotors, because they do fail more than you think. So they look good, and they worked for a while. So other than that, we're about ready to swap this one out here. And these are pretty easy to do. I've got the caliper off. You got to take a Torx bit for that. And I probably have some YouTube videos on this. This is a T45. And got my caliper hanging up here. And this is just about ready to come off here. Once we get this bracket off, then we can take off the rotor here. It's really a shame that these things failed, because I kind of liked them and I didn't have much of a problem with them, and they were almost $80 for 2 rotors, a set of pads, and some fluid. But no point in crying over spilled milk, right? All right, so there's that. Let's take this one out here in the sun. What sun? Walking to the Appalachians in winter, almost winter. Let's take this off and look at it out here in the light. That's what I wanted to say. Alright, I have not had this one clear off like the other side. Let's go out here and look at it and see what we can see. And see. Yeah, you can see places there where it's wore down on one side, and the other side not looking so good. So anyway, and I don't think you can turn these, and by the time you turn them, you can buy new ones today. So they'll just sit in the garage in the junk pile and use them for something later to beat on or something. So the new ones here should be fairly easy to put on. We'll check the wheel bearing here. For an old 2000 SUV, man, this thing's still going. It's my neighbor's, and great body, runs great, and it runs like new yet. So everything here looks good. I gotta get my C clamp there. We're gonna push these pistons all the way back in, since we got new pads, and they are in the box over here. And that should take care of our shaking noise and all that. So let me go ahead and go put some of this together here. I'm not going to bore you with all that. We'll get just about together, and we'll see how it goes here. Hey, let me know where you're watching from right now. All right, all good. she's going together just like I want. Now, I did have these anti-rattle clips right here. This is the old one. Yeah, this thing has seen better days. I had to modify. These are the ones that came with it, but from another vehicle, but I had to actually modify this piece right there where my thumb is. Right there. I had to bend that out flat because you can see it's a little lower than the outer edges here, over there and over there. I just took a hammer and put it right there. Kind of flatten it down, because if you don't, it's gonna, see, it's kind of, shouldn't be like that. It should be straight toward me, flat across the top there. But anyway, got those in, and that worked out pretty good. And all we gotta do now is put this guy here on. Come on, camera, focus for me. Must be getting cold out here. Get this caliper on, and this side will be done. I gotta clean this up a little bit, but yeah, it went on fairly easy. So at least we got new pads, new anti-rattle clips, and new rotor. It should stop really nice. Should stop like a new vehicle. So let me finish up on this side, and we'll hit the other side. All right, so we got this side done. She's all torqued down. She looks good, and I can turn it with my hand. So let's go ahead and hit the other side. I'm glad I got these new clips on there, these anti-rattle clips. That'll keep this thing nice and quiet. So let's head to the other side. Before you take the wheel off, you get it up in the air a little bit, grab it and just kind of shake it, make sure, you know, there's nothing weird going on with it. You know, any noise seems pretty good. So let's go ahead and get this wheel off. All right, so if you just bought an Expedition, you're all excited, maybe it's your first vehicle or whatever, or if you like it just because it sits up high, you can go through the snow like a champ. The first thing you can do is, the easiest way, I guess, is to get these off here, this caliper and everything, is it slides out from the bottom here, and actually it slides up and hooks up into here. So a lot of people just start prying, they can't get it off, but actually, so you got to get it on the bottom like this. And you can take your screwdriver in here, and if you can get a place, you can kind of pull back like this. You can push that piston back a little bit, and this will free this up, just so you know. So maybe I can do this with one hand. Let's see. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. But so you can see I've got it started right there. A lot of people get hung up right here, and they can't figure out how to get it off. So actually, if you get it down just far enough, and you get it down low enough here, it should just slide right off. Let me see if it'll come out now. There we go. Yep, just pull it right out like that. And like I said, it may come off a little hard because you may still have your calipers here, your pistons still in the bore. Let me just, there we go. It should be pretty loose now. All right, so we're just about out. But you can see, doing it with just one hand, now you can see this bottom caliper piston right there is getting caught. Let me just push it back a little bit there. I should free it up enough. Then you can take one hand and just simply pull it off like this. There we go. It's almost off. Of course, it's going to make a liar out of me. Normally, they just come right off. But like, see, it's almost off. It's 90% off, but I don't want to end up dropping it either. So there we go. All right. Of course, there's probably a groove back here on this back part of this rotor catching part of this here. Let me just take both hands and pull the rest of the way off. There we go. All right. Sometimes you got to watch also this right here. This thing will be so far sticking out right here where the bolt goes in, it'll catch up on the back of the brake right here. I know you can't see that, but anyway, so that's off. And pop the pads out. Pads are so-so, but we're going to put new ones on it. And of course, the squealers here, they're not in best shape either. Let's go ahead and knock this one out too. This side. And so, yeah, so that's that. So now there's two 18mm nuts back here that we have to take off. You take this bracket off here, then this will allow you to pull this right off. But this is the dummy one we put on. And you can see it's got grooves in it. It's no good, but it's alright. Got a brand new one over there to put on. Alright, off you go. Bye, bye, bye. Those were the original rotors that were on this vehicle. We just happened to keep one in case I need it for, you know, something to bang on. So all we gotta do now is putting it back together and all that. So it wasn't too bad. All right, so let's get you on. And you look so pretty. Oh, how nice. Yeah. I can't wait to drive it, just to feel the difference. All right, so let's go ahead and put our bracket on, get our squealer clips on, our anti-rattle clips, get them on our right, and we'll come back here and show you some tips on that. All right, so in these squealer anti-rattle clips, on this, for some reason, they're not 100% right, but the back of it there, you see how it's kind of right here? I had to kind of modify that because it was pointing straight down. Now you can see it's pointing straight across, and it's flush on there with this piece of metal here. Now I've got to do the same thing with this one here on this side. If I stick those in here like this, if you look closely, you can see that this side right here where my thumb is, see how it's sticking down? That needs to go straight toward me, so I need to bend it out so it's flush on there. So I'm not sure why these are like that, but it works. So go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and put everything back together. You don't know how to bend it, so what you can do is stick it on as best you can, and just take your hammer and kind of tap it like that. You see it's pretty flush on there. Hey, it beats what was on there before, but maybe maybe 2002 they changed it just a little bit. But these here are off of a 2002 or for a 2002 Ford Expedition 4.6. They ask you if you want the 12 millimeter or 14 millimeter studs. What they're meaning is the size of these studs and the holes, but they will work. But when you get to 2002, the rotors are a little bit different, I've been told. So you know, just so you know. But ordered these are for a 14 millimeter stud. So that one's on, and now what we got to do is put this on the top, and I'll take the hammer here and kind of straighten that one out, and that'll allow these brakes to sit in here nice and be seated, and it won't rattle and all that. All right, I think you can kind of see that there. Now to get it started, I actually stuck it up here and kind of held it here. I got it started where it's pretty straight, then I stuck it on here and verified it. So both of these are on. So all right, now let's go ahead and put this on as the rain starts to fall a little bit. All right, I think it's in. Is it in? Yeah, okay, good. There we go. And you can look down here, and if you can see a crack, nothing will be where you bent that. You should have enough clearance there, no problem. And same up here. No problem, no clearance issues. Clearance. So that worked out really good. So now all we got to do is go ahead and put the caliper back on and all that. Now when you put this caliper in, this bottom piece right here, this stays out. This part up here you have to bend up a little bit. I realized because the caliper has to go up under here, and on the bottom here, it kind of sits in here. I'll show you here in a second. But when you start the caliper, that's how it starts up in here. That goes up under here. It holds it down a little bit so it doesn't rattle around. All right, so we got the pistons all the way back. Just use the old brake pad and clamp there and slide it back in, and now we're ready to go ahead and master this thing on its new rotor. And also, one other quick thing, when you're pushing these pistons all the way back, especially on the front, don't be surprised if you see a little fluid leaking out of the reservoir up on the top. You might want to loosen up the cap where the brake fluid level reservoir is, and let some of that kind of back out and put a rag under it, because it will leak a little bit if you have it already full and your pedal is already low, and these things will really wore down. All that fluid's got to go somewhere, and it's going to come back out if you have too much in there, just so you know. So let's go ahead and stick this on. All right, before I slide this on, make sure these here, your bolt holes, these slider pins are all the way back like that. Push them back in. And also, if you have these new clips like I have, tap these all the way this way forward, because sometimes these will try to get hung up on this, or your pistons here will try to get hung up on this a little bit. That way you can kind of keep an eye on the front, but I usually just push all this forward. It makes it a little bit easier because you kind of got to get these centered here with the holes back here in the back, which is right about here, which I know you can't see, But once you get those centered up, the bolt should go in fairly easy. So let's go ahead and get this in. And also, when you buy pads, just so you know, you typically get 2 pads that have these little marks here. These are like little wear indicator marks, and when you get down so far, they squeal. Make sure you don't put one of these on the back, because if you do, you're going to have trouble getting that caliper on there. So make sure the back ones don't have it. You need to put it down here on the front somewhere. Usually, you can only put them on one way, because that's the way the pads are made. So I got one on this side, and I got one on the other side on the outside, just so you know. And now we're looking at the finished product now on the top of this one here. Now this is just my setup. You may get the ones that are perfect for these anti-rattle clips that you don't have to do anything to them. This one here I bent up, so this caliper will go up under it, and on the bottom you have to take a screwdriver and bend this one down right here. And when you bend this down a little bit, this will allow that caliper to slip over this bottom one right here. Don't ask me why, that's just the way it is. And well, bend these back a little bit. So everything's good, the wheel's straight and all that, so I'm fairly happy we got this side done. And one other thing, I just want to come back to the driver's side, and you can see I don't have the pad that has the anti-wear indicator on the back. This will go on the front. It'll go in here like this, and once we get it in there, we can put the wheel back on this side. So I wanted to verify that I had it on there right. I've done this in the past, so you know, it's not embarrassing, it's just how we learn. So just remember about this guy here. These go typically on the outside. Alright, so let's put these wheels on. We'll take this thing down the road and see how it spins. Now before you take off in it, make sure you pump the pedal a little bit before you start it up. Then after you start it up, pump the pedal some more, bring the pedal back up, because these pistons got to go back together. They've got to get all the fluid back down into this the caliper and all that, so you don't have any air in the system. So just pump those back up. Make sure you have a good pedal before you start it up. Alright, just one final tip here before we actually hit the highway. When you're putting this back together, if anything's in a bind, stop, walk away, go get a drink, come back, refresh yourself, and look around. That's the key to have a successful fix. And a lot of times it's just something simple, you just don't have it in there right, or you're not pushing the right way. So just so you know, I'm going to clean these up, and now we're going to hit the highway. Alright everyone, great news, man. When I hit the brakes now, she is smooth as butter. Boy, what a difference. And I can't believe both those front slotted rotors were bad that fast. That's pretty crazy. So I'm going to stop here real fast. Look at that. No shaking with the steering wheel or nothing. I love it. Yes. Alright, so she's running great. She feels good. I'm going to do a real hard stop right here. Let go of the steering wheel. Look at that. Oh, yes. She doesn't do much of anything but just stop real easy. Although sometimes the wipers on this thing, if you put it on delay, it'll stop halfway. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, looks like we fixed her. There we go. So I got to see they're halfway stopped, which isn't that weird. So I have to turn them back on and turn them off. But anyway, that's something we'll deal with later. Alright guys, so there you go. Thanks for watching. 292,000 miles. And this thing is still going. Amazing. I kind of miss these little things. So until my next video, guys, I will see you later.